we've got Uranus opposing Sun-Pluto via transit, the Sun-Pluto Midpoint. So imagine what Sun-Uranus-Pluto feels like as an energy force. Wild, right? So surprises, it's pedal to the metal. And once again, there's this theme of like thinking on your feet, ingenuity. There's like a zap boom effect. I want to caution anybody empathic or psychics or anyone with preternatural powers today. It's very sensitive. Like it's very clairaudient. It's very like you're picking up on everybody's energy, clairvoyance. It's like you're moving through a swift moving vortex. So it's hard to keep up. Listen to music. Do, dance, shake it out, do vibratory sound bowls, like whatever. Clean up your house even, whatever. Get the stimulation out on this day and you'll be okay.
This podcast episode is sponsored by Astrology Hub's Academy. Wherever you are on your astrology journey, we have a class that will help you get to the next level. Hi there. Welcome to your weekly astrological weather. I am so grateful that you have joined this weekly worldwide astrological conversation. If you're new here, welcome in. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to stay updated on all of the new content releases that we have each week. Also, to support this podcast, please be sure to rate and review where you are listening today. Of course, we adore those 5-star reviews that are already there. Thank you so much. Now, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Jamie McGee. I'm an author, an astrologer, and one of the hosts here on the Astrology Hub podcast platform. Before we get started today, I wanted to mention that Astrology Hub's Health, Wealth, and Fulfillment Workshop series kicks off tomorrow. Now, this workshop is taught by Judith Hill, Michael Bryant, and Georgia Stathis across 3 weeks, and Judith starts tomorrow. You can learn more about this and sign up at astrologyhub.com/workshop. That link is also below this broadcast. All right, now today we'll be exploring the astrological influences for the weeks of September 4th through 10th with Harmonic astrologer and Astrology Hub favorite Clarissa Dolphin, who is also featured on our Astrologer Connect platform, one of the favorites there. Now, if you do not know Clarissa yet, Clarissa is a certified astrologer, shamanic healer, tarot diviner, Reiki master, writer, and the president of ISAR. It is so great, or ISAR. I always get that backwards. How is the correct way to say it?
It's ISAR, but I say ISAR too all the time.
Sometimes I'm like, ISAR, where's the Southern accent coming in? But I love it. All right. Well, I'm so excited to be here with you today. I love how we've been able to actually connect on a couple other podcasts, and your energy is so vibrant. Your perspective on astrology is absolutely magical, and it's a gift to have you back. Thank you so much for being here.
I thank you for the honor and gift to Jamie. I'm a big fan of yours as well. And I'm so excited to co-collab with the weekly weather with you this week.
Oh, it's going to be great. Now, like when you look at this week, if you could like give it one theme or a word or a phrase, what comes to mind right when you first look at what's happening?
I'm gonna try to put it in 3 words.
Okay.
Spiritual, carnal, and visionary.
Oh, wow. Carnal? Is that right? You said carnal?
Carnal. Yeah.
I like it. Now, what transits would you say are inspiring those 3 words?
I would say that it's actually the harmonics behind the transits that are actually more inspiring these 3 words. And there's actually more. That's just like that's like a little smidget of like the totality. I think another 2 words is like polarized experience. Like this week is going to be a trip, y'all.
I love it. Okay. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the harmonics that you're seeing, or do you want to just kind of go into the week and just kind of move through each of the days? Like you want to give like an overall, this is what we're stepping into right now?
Sure. I think, I'd like to start out by just going over the quote normal transit to transit aspects that we have going on this week. So we only have 3. We've got Jupiter forward, but this isn't really an aspect, right? So Jupiter stations retrograde on Monday. So that's going to be a doozy of its own. Also on Monday, we've got Mercury Retrograde Trine Jupiter. So the same day that Jupiter stations, we've got this really huge aspect, and I'll get into the harmonics of it later. On Wednesday, we've got Sun conjunct Mercury Retrograde. And then on Friday, the 8th, we've got Sun trine Jupiter, which is now retrograde. So really like the power players of the week, from transit to transit, what we see in the sky is going to be Sun, Mercury, Jupiter. But there are other planetary pairs and influences in the background that are influencing everything in the harmonics that bring different tonalities.
Isn't that crazy? It's always so multivalent and layers after layers to kind of get that certain flavor. And the big guy, Jupiter, he's just going to make us look back. He's going to say, I'm going back. And as I do, here's your to-do list. I love that. Okay. That's
Right?
perfect.
My guess is if I were to look at a vision board that you've made, I'd see pictures of vibrant, healthy looking people and some indication of wealth. No, I'm not talking about the cliched red Corvette or private jet, but probably something a little more custom tailored for you. Maybe a smiling woman playing with her children in a backyard garden. Someone happily nestled in the nook of their custom designed library with all their favorite books on the shelves. Or maybe you'd show a strong, flexible person doing yoga on a gorgeous beach. You see, we're all here having this human experience, and we'd love for it to be as fulfilling as possible. But if the path was clear and living it was easy, we'd all be doing it. Here's the good news. There are keys in your astrology chart to discovering your vision of health, wealth, and fulfillment. And beginning in September, we have 3 master astrologers who are going to show you how to find it. You can learn more and enroll now at the promotional pricing in the link in the show notes or at astrologyhub.com/workshop. So here's to living your vision of health, wealth, and fulfillment. I really hope to see you there.
All right. So and a lot of this is happening today on Monday, right?
A lot of it is happening on Monday. And so I want to talk about this. So let's talk about the Jupiter stationing retrograde and the Mercury trine Jupiter on Monday. So the 29th harmonic, the 23rd harmonic, and the 13th harmonic are the energies behind the Mercury trine Jupiter. So there's going to be lots of this week in terms of polarized experience. I wrote in my notes. I'm just going to read it to you because it's important. It's a lot of active thinking, expanding analysis, outwitting, like a funky bag of tricks. And so it starts out like this on Monday. So there's going to be lots of random elements, moving pieces. And the 29th harmonic is interesting on Monday because the 29th harmonic, its function energetically is to improve, better everything by adopting perspectives outside of what you were raised with, outside of your typical normal and comfort zone. So there's the 23 and the 13 are adding probability, randomness. So it's like finding the one thing among a million options. So that's why I'm saying, like, we're starting out the week with, a lot of crazy. And then the also in the background on Monday, we've got the 13th harmonic happening, and we've got the sun opposing the midpoint of Pluto and lunar north node. So there's a lot of power dynamics as well. And one thing that I want to say about this week that is a huge theme, it feels very karmic. So getting out what you give, getting yours. And this is going for everybody, for you, everybody else. If you've been outputting something for a while, watch it come back right quick this week.
Yeah, I like that. Like, it's like everybody gets what they deserve, whether you call it positive or negative. You're going to get what you deserve. It's all good.
Yeah.
And I like how it's a great lesson, a great lesson energy. Because I think the biggest thing about karma that I found personally is we don't usually recognize it when it comes back to us because it comes back from a different tone. So this would be a good week to kind of notice what is surfacing in your life and kind of reflect on how it got there, like where the thread is, what was the seed of it. Because, yeah.
Absolutely. And you gave me full body chills with that, Jamie, because that is like kind of like the biggest resonant themes of this week, which kind of brings us into Tuesday. There's not an aspect going on there in the sky, but there's a whole lot of harmonics. So we've got the 11th harmonic, the 9th harmonic active, the 13th harmonic as well. And we've also got Mercury opposing in the sky. Transit to transit, we've got Mercury opposing the midpoint of Saturn Neptune. So here comes the spirituality theme with Saturn Neptune. Saturn Neptune is everywhere across the harmonics this week. And Saturn Neptune is one of the spiritual planetary pairs. There's 5. They all have different functions. Saturn Neptune is more ritualistic. It's more of sacrifice now for the afterlife. So it's like, I'm going to pray now. I'm going to do my altar. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to cast this now. I'm going to sacrifice something now for the betterment in the afterlife. So when we've got Mercury opposing this midpoint with all these planets as like an energetic force, we're going to be really doing like deep, profound thinking. What is this all for? So, why is this happening? What is my lifestyle about? What am I devoting myself to? I also wrote about Tuesday, even though it's Mercury retrograde and all the Mercury retrograde applies. Don't sign anything, all that kind of stuff, right? But if you sometimes you got to live your life, right? Start to make deals on Tuesday. There's a lot of talking going on, lots of pitches. This is a week to advocate, and this is the day that you get to start advocating. It's one of my favorite days of the week personally, because it's so inspirational. There's the vision, the why. You're inspired by, past, present, future. And you're also really present to your earlier point, Jamie, what it took to get here and what it'll take to move forward.
I love it. That's so rich. And I've been doing like a lot of reading lately. And I guess like, every time you start to feed that intellectual Mercury thing, like you see certain memes and such. But I've really noticed, tapped into this concept of delayed gratification, because we live in a society where it's instant. Like we want to do everything instantly. But it was talking about like, I think it was a fitness comment or article, but it was talking about when you saw someone come in that was completely fit and organized and really, together, that was a person that understood delayed gratification. They understood the little bit of little things every day, very Virgo Mercury, those little tiny things, the attention is in the details, lead to a gratification that's delayed. And I know I'm probably dating myself, but I'm from a generation where everything was delayed gratification because you had to like wait to see your friends, wait to do everything. And that's such an interesting energy because Mercury asks you to slow down and he's asking you to look at the details. And then we have all these midpoints that are digging up these undercurrents that because we're so forward focused, we're not digging them up. And that's usually, I think, when we get a little bit overwhelmed, because when we don't face it, we get this tsunami of energy that kind of overwhelms us. So I love the kind of wake up call that we're getting now, because that's going to be healthy to work through now as we get ever closer to the eclipse season next month, so it's these little moments. Definitely. They're very powerful.
Wow, Jamie, you keep giving me body chills. Like I'm probably start convulsing from like complete joy from everything that you're saying. Because when I was preparing the analysis, I was thinking along similar lines to you. Like this week, in a lot of ways, you're talking about eclipse season, of course. It could be a precursor to that, but I think it's also a precursor to when we have direct energies from mid-September and when we've got a transit sun opposing Neptune and transit sun trine Pluto too. And that's going to be on September 19th and September 20th. So what we're doing, this is a very like integrative foundational week where we are, delayed gratification. We're starting to see all these elements come together, and all these kind of points of power, points of vision. What are you really going to do? Yeah. Why? Like the real core of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also understanding like those little seeds that you've planted all this time are starting to sprout. And And when you do that, you're like, wow, if I just keep cultivating that, that's going to grow. I've been cultivating that and I should not do that anymore because that's not making me have full body chills. I don't want to cultivate that. So it's a really good awareness. I love how you really brought up those nuances of all of it together. So how would this roll into Wednesday? Because now we've talked about Monday and Tuesday, so we're looking at midweek right now. What can we expect around that time?
Yeah. So midweek Wednesday, we've got the Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde, and the harmonics behind that aspect when it perfects is 1532 and 245. So 15th harmonic, whenever we've got 5, it is about creative actualization, creative thinking. There's a playfulness to 5. There's an inventiveness to 5. So we're going to have to think creatively on our feet today. Saturn, Neptune is in it too. All these harmonics, by the way, again. So depth, sacrifice, meaning. What does this all mean? That the spiritual core, about what it's all for, is there. And Saturn Neptune is interesting, and this is the polarity of experience this week because this week is active. I get that it's retrograde. I get that we have Jupiter and Mercury and all this stuff retrograde. But at the same time, it's imagine yourself in the eye of a hurricane and the stillness of being in the higher, but you're still in a hurricane. You can see everything flying around. That's what today is about. And that's what kind of like the general week is as well. So come to clarity or inquiry about greater mysteries on Wednesday. And getting to the root of foundational problems. This is a great day for actual educators, scientists, monks, anyone in devotional service, but also getting to the core and the root structure of substantial projects and long-term projects and objectives. A lot of comedy is going to happen too. Like, give yourself the ability to laugh today because it's going to be somewhat like living in a circus, or if you're from my era, in Living Color or something. Like, this is like sketch comedy. It's crazy.
I'm from your era. I love it. Okay. Like that. And I kind of find I seem to get a lot done during retrogrades. And I know they get a bad rap. Like, no, just stop, don't do anything. But there's no energy in the sky that tells you to sit there and be paralyzed. There's always an energy asking you to do something. And those reviews are like, okay, let's dig in. Let's see how we can make this improve so we run smoother. And because of that, and maybe it could be because of all my Virgo placements, that I always feel busier in retrograde. Like, I feel like, okay, I have some outer planets in Virgo and I have a moon in Gemini, but I always feel busier. Like, okay, I got to get it all done. I got to get organized. And it's like you get the nooks and the crannies. So yeah, it's definitely not a stop and wait week. It's a let's do our homework. Like let's study up for everything that's coming forward. I like how you put that. I can so tell that you're a writer. You have such a way with words. I keep writing down all these little phrases. You're amazing. All right. So how do we flow into Thursday now?
So Thursday is really deep in terms of a connection with divinity, a connection with the other, a connection with what's beyond now. So it's going to be a great day for receiving divine messages. And this is the karma day. This is the day where you really see getting mine, getting yours, getting all that stuff that you've been producing. It's an interesting day because, once again, the polarities, we've got Mars conjunct Pluto in the 13th harmonic of singularity, 13th harmonic of nonconformity. I want to break down just really quickly, like, other themes with the harmonics going on this week: equality, legal and social justice, the weather, the climate, the earth, and nature. That's going to be in the background from these harmonics. Commodities, the everyday, and this is personal and mundane and the world. It hits all of that. Criminality, off the wall, bizarre, strange lifestyles, the elite and the marginalized. We're gonna be all wading through this together, like kind of the whole week with the way that the harmonics are going. But yeah, Thursday is like total karmic reprisal, getting yours, and that's generally the theme of the day. Friday is interesting because it brings us back to organization. So we have Saturn Neptune as a theme in the harmonics, and that's like kind of like spiritual. What are we doing this for? What am I producing for the afterlife, or etc. And we also have Jupiter Saturn everywhere. And you don't have to be an harmonic astrologer to feel what these mean. I already know Jamie already feels that all this. Jupiter Saturn's about structure. It's about the bare bones, the sustainable bones of what, if you're building anything, it's like the foundation of the house. If that's not like a core concrete thing, the house is going to fall down. So anyway, we've got Jupiter Saturn on Friday with a 19th harmonic, 31st harmonic, 5th harmonic. Whenever I see 1931-5 combinations, typically people in tech, human resources, people who are inventing and dealing with problems that don't have easy answers, like gray area problems, are highlighted. So organizations, big projects, management, HR, leading together, leading big things with all these moving pieces. Lots of options. It's like there's a lot of restructuring. There's a lot of going to like the core base of everything. What is sustainable? Food, how are we going to eat? And like literally and figuratively, like how are we going to make this sustainably good for us? Restructuring resources for maximum sustainable benefit. The feeling of this week is mixed. Sometimes it's really hype with rapid insights. Then the next second, like literal second, it lulls. Like you've been dreaming in some nambulistic state of meditation or journeying in the ether for like 100 years. So we're going like crazy, boom, 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 and to monk. Like I'm in, Tibet, and I've been meditating for 37 years. It feels like that. So anyway, so Friday encapsulates that a lot.
Oh, wow. So it's kind of like the universe is just really loud. It's like when you ground into the moment, like you'll hear messages in the ordinary and the extraordinary all around you. You'll see a dragonfly or a butterfly and be like, wow, what does that mean? And you'll go down a spiritual journey and all of a sudden something will click and you're like, I hear the message, and it just reprograms. Yeah, I love it. I love how you put it all together perfectly. I can see that. And I think I've experienced that enough as a creative person, as a writer, to know when something just kind of stops you, and it's almost like it nails you to the planet and makes you pay attention. And once it does, you're like, oh, okay. Like it's time to wake up. It's time to dial into what I'm here for. And that's like the little things leading to the purpose. Yeah, man, that's rich. Like I'm really excited to see what unfolds on a personal level as we move through this weekend and get closer to the weekend, rather, Thursday and Friday. And I love the karma day. Like this is the karma day. This is the day where you kind of really dig deep. Like that speaks to all of my favorite things to do. So, I like to kind of dig in and see, what's underneath there. How can we improve it and inspire vitality. So how's the weekend feeling? Because this is a really rich end to the week. So what do we do when we kind of get into Saturday and Sunday this week?
Yeah. So the weekend is where the carnal part comes out. We've got Venus, Pluto aspecting in the 13th harmonic with Mars. So a Venus-Mars combination is very tactile. So it's very physical. It's like the body, what is, in the flesh that we can touch and feel. And with Pluto, like a Venus-Pluto is totally impulsive. It's totally compulsive. So that's like the carnal part. It's like, if you're addicted to ice cream, like do not buy types of ice cream because you will eat them all like this weekend. So yeah. So food, sex, love, learning, talking. There's a lot, very romantic weekend. So lots of love talk. It's again, this polarity of energy, like literally every day. We've also got a Sun Saturn in the same harmonic, the 13th harmonic on Saturday. So it's like, it's this carnal, oh my God, put it in my mouth. Like I want to eat everything. And then also, very structured, Saturn, law of authority, that energy, like, what am I doing this for? What is the ultimate higher law for this? So Also, Saturday's amazing day for setting boundaries, actually, because you have that carnality, that like impulse, what I actually want and desire um, in the flesh, in the 3D world. But it's also like, but I don't want that Sun Saturn, but this is not going to enter my world anymore. So it's deep. There's also it's like deep romance, deep passion, and grounding at the same time. And little compromise. Whenever the 13th harmonic is active, there's not compromise. It creates its own rules. So we're all waiting through that. And finally on Sunday's crazy in the best possible way. It's a very 11th harmonic active. We've got Uranus opposing Sun-Pluto via transit, the Sun-Pluto Midpoint. So imagine what Sun-Uranus-Pluto feels like as an energy force. Wild, right? We've also got Venus-Uranus. Venus-Uranus is sex, music, dance. It's, energy healing. It's rippling energy in the 9th harmonic. So surprises Sunday, wild, fast, rescue efforts even. It's pedal to the metal. And once again, there's this theme of like thinking on your feet, ingenuity. There's like a zap boom effect. I mean, it's almost like superheroes flying through the sky. I want to caution anybody empathic or psychics or anyone with preternatural powers. Today, it's very sensitive on Sunday. Like it's very clairaudient. It's very like you're picking up on everybody's energy, clairvoyance, all that kind of stuff. It's like you're moving through a swift moving vortex. So it's hard to keep up. Listen to music. Do, dance, shake it out, do vibratory sound bowls, like whatever. Clean up your house even, whatever. Get the stimulation out on this day and you'll be okay.
Kind of like, how we always have retrogrades and the Mercury they all kind of do it, but they bring up the ghost. So I just have this, like, as you were talking, like this whole like storyline come up where that ex that you shouldn't call, but you want to call, then you go look at the scrolling thing and you're like, should I pick up it or should I not pick it up? Or should I go there? And then like bringing in those boundaries and like recognizing, okay, I'm not going to do that because if I do that, it leads here and I've grown, I've gone this far. And for those of us who happen to like maybe fall off the wagon, fall off the diet, call the guy, call the girl, do the thing that we shouldn't do, then we have that rescue effort that kind of comes in on Saturday, that support system that we put in place with our friends, or even that reality check that wakes up and is like, no, no, no. And we put in those boundaries. So it is a very carnal, primal, instinctual energies, those habits that is just really hard to overcome. Whatever you can do to support yourself going into that, it's always good to know that that's coming because then you're like, no, I'm not going to check his wall. I'm not going to check to see if they've how long it's takes for them to snap me back or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Just no, I'm going to stay in my lane and or find a way. But it's also at the same time good to exercise your ghost. So if you have to write a letter to your past version, like I'm so happy that you've come over this and being so connected with that. It's such a rich week, Clarissa. It's like amazing all the stuff that you have brought up to the surface for us to work with. Like it's like
Thank you, Jamie. And yeah, and I love exercise your ghost. That's exactly, I think, the perfect encapsulation of the energy. It's exercising us. Like we are in the exorcist this week. I also want to share just other kind of this is also big money. Big success. Wow. Like it's Sun-Pluto, a lot of these aspects. So it's pushy, power, willpower. These things are really, and how that aligns with spiritual resonance. It's really deep week, like with all of the exercising of demons, ghosts, and everything. Like we really find ourselves on our paths this week.
Oh, wow. What can we ask for? That's amazing. And to find ourselves on that path, sometimes we have to go deep and do the work to get there. And that's the thing. That's delayed gratification. To get to there, you're going to have to go through this valley, but you're going to be fine because you have everything you need. And yeah, that's powerful. So to sum up this, is there anything you want to say, like in conclusion, now that we've kind of gone through everything? Is there anything else you'd like to add about what to work with or to be on the lookout for?
I think we hit all the main points. I think just allowing yourself to have space to move through extreme polarities of energy that, what you were talking about with the butterfly and the dragonflies, that's probably going to be happening in moments of severe bouts of physical labor where you're sweating, where it's like, dang, we're trying to meet this deadline. And that kind of situation is actually normal this week. And also it's okay to advocate for yourself and for others this week. Like, don't be quiet this week. Like, you can kind of be vociferous in what really matters to you spiritually, culturally, whatever. Like, it's okay, let it out.
Oh, I like that. I love that. And a good, to follow up on that, when you stand up for someone, you stand up for yourself, also be prepared to listen to what comes back. Because sometimes we say something, we drop the mic and we walk away. But in order for you to have a healthy resolution to what you're working on, listening to what comes back and not to get in a back and forth tennis match, but process, replay. Okay, well, that's your perspective and move forward. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So good. So this week we have so much, God, I don't even know how I could ever begin to summarize all the juiciness in this week, but it's very spiritual, carnal, and visionary. And I think that really summed it up. The way that you said how this week would unfold. And I love how you said polarized experiences, because that's what it sounds like, the highs and the lows and paying attention to where you are, grounding in the moment. And a lot of, energy it seems to flow in really heavy today on Monday, a little bit of processing. Then we're going to go spiritual, and then we're going to get a little bit tested as we walk into the weekend. But we'll be able to have all that structure and that system and those boundaries to call back on as we exit the week and get ready to step into another one. Does that sound about right for everything we got?
Perfect, Jamie. You're amazing.
Oh, you make it easy, Clarissa. You are definitely a wordsmith. I love how you articulate everything that you've said and your high energy and your high vibration. It is just always such a pleasure to be in conversation with you. It's just absolutely amazing. And I know that the audience feels the same way. So many insights, especially when you get into those harmonics and those layers and say, well, on the surface, it looks like I should be doing okay. But the harmonics are saying you also have this level and this level to kind of dig in. And now's a good time to get that, bring it up and work with it. So good times, good energy. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you for giving me nothing but body chills, Jamie. It's such an honor to work with you. And thank you everyone for listening. Appreciate you all.
Oh, it's awesome. I loved having you here, and I look forward to having you back on the weekly weather. I'm sure everyone does, or any other aspect of the podcast that we have here at Astrology Hub. Now, before we leave today, I just want to remind you guys again that the Astrology Hub's Health, Wealth, and Fulfillment Workshop Series is starting to kick off. Now, this is across 3 weeks, 3 teachers, Judith Hill, Michael Bryant, and Georgia Stathis. Judith Hill's class kicks off tomorrow, and I personally cannot wait for that. Now, you can learn more by going to astrologyhub.com/workshop. Now, again, if you are absolutely in love with Carissa, like I am, and you want to work one-to-one with her and really dig into your chart, especially the harmonics or anything else you want to really kind of capitalize on with Carissa's brilliance and her words, you can find her at astrologyhub.com/ClarissaConnect. And I promise you, you will love every second of it. Very insightful, very amazing astrologer to work with. Again, you can find her at astrologyhub.com/ClarissaConnect. All right. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to this episode and for being a part of this community. And as always, for making astrology a part of your life. We'll catch you on the next episode.